New Zealand's John Walker. It could be on. All that and more following the 6:30 news.
Welcome back to Mount Smart Stadium, where it's still beautifully fine and sunny. Lovely conditions for track and field. In a moment, the 800 metres. But before we go to that, let's go to Doug Armstrong for the results of the men's sprints.
Thanks, Tony. Firstly, the official result of the Winsoil men's 100 metres. First was Alan Wells of Scotland with a time of 10.3. Second, from the United States, Howard Henley, his time 10.52. And third, also from the United States, was Marty Crulley with a time of 10.69 seconds. The Vacation Hotel Women's 100 metres. First from Australia, Debbie Wells, a time of 11.52 seconds. Second was Andrea Wade of Auckland, a time of 11.88 seconds. And third from Australia, Jane Fleming, her time 11.90 seconds. And so it's on with the programme, and a pretty even field for the Winsoil men's 800 metres. Icahn Billy from England and the Pole Rysard Ostrovsky should feature. The watch for Peter Burke of Australia and New Zealand's Peter Pearless, who ran so well at Hamilton on Thursday night.
And there's Peter Burke, the Commonwealth champion in Brisbane 1982. He was a surprise winner there, G'd up by the big crowd in Brisbane. And Peter Burke will start probably his favourite for this field tonight. And let's meet them now from lanes 1 to 8.
Field getting ready now for the Winsoil men's 800 metres. In lane 1 from Auckland, Jim Young.
Second in the national championships last year, Jimmy Young.
In lane 2, also from Auckland, Kelvin Ingle.
Been bothered by tendon trouble this year, but Kelvin Ingle on the comeback trail now.
Lane 3 from England, Icahn Billy.
He's got a personal best of 1:47, the European junior champion, Icahn Billy.
Lane 4 from Poland, Rysard Ostrovsky.
He's actually the fastest man in the field, but only by a couple of hundredths of a second over Burke, Rysard Ostrovsky.
In lane 5 from Auckland, Mark Furlan.
Next, national Colts champion from the North Shore Bays Club.
Lane 6, also from Auckland, Peter Pearless.
Pearless ran a good race at Hamilton on Thursday, got fourth, but it was only inches away from second.
Lane 7 from Wellington, Russell Aldridge.
There's Russell Aldridge, ex-national junior champion of 2 years ago.
And from Australia, in lane 8, it's Peter Burke.
Best time for Burke last year of 1:45.98. When you compare that, Ostrowski had a 1:45.90. So Burke just fractionally slower than Ostrowski on best times in 1983. But Peter Burke will start from the outside, a slight disadvantage. They run in lanes for the first 100 metres. Now, Peter Pearless actually stepped back from the start, I think, there. No, sorry, that was Mark Furlan. When the gun went, he stepped back away in lane 5. Peter Pearless got away to a good, strong start out in lane 6. And now they'll come across to the inside running. And Pearless looks as though he's gone up to come across in behind Peter Burke. Now, let's see how they line up on the inside. And Icahn Billy going up in second place. Here's the head-on view. Burke looking out to the left. And Burke goes to lead. Pearless cruises in behind with Icahn Billy at the 200-metre mark.
And the 200 metres was a little slow. Pearless wants to break 1:46 to try and qualify for the Olympics. And like Peter Renner in the 3,000-metre steeplechase, he wants to do it here if he can because the opposition's there. Peter Burke in the lead, the Commonwealth Games champion, can certainly do that time.
So it's Peter Burke, Icahn Billy. Coming down the outside is Russell Aldridge from Wanganui, and they go to the bell now, and they went through. Let's look at it, 54. It's a bit slow, but Russell Aldridge just picked it up and kicked it along. Aldridge, Burke, Icahn Billy, Peter Pearless in fourth place. Then the Pole Ostrowski.
Russell Aldridge, just a very nice one. Just look at his style. Flicks his hands a bit, but he's very smooth. Ex-New Zealand junior champion. He's excited, out in the lead of this field, leading the Commonwealth champion and the European junior champion.
Peter Pearless with a long stride is there in fourth place, so Aldridge won quite well. His face racked with pain at the moment, but it's Burke comfortably in second. Icahn Billy and Pearless. And then Jimmy Young, they're leaving the Pole Ostrowski. Jimmy Young is away in fifth place. Now the battle is on the corner. Icahn Billy is improving. So Burke on the corner from Icam Billy. Peter Pearless is third. They're up the straight now. Pearless is coming down the outside. Has the New Zealander got it? Yes, he has. There's a surprise victory, but a very popular one. Peter Pearless threw 148.6 on the Finchley. And he beat the Commonwealth champion, and he beat the European junior champion. So that's the first significant win, I think, internationally for the Aucklander ex-Nelson man, Peter Pearless.
Well, Pearless has had a long time to wait for this moment. He's been written off by so many people, but he's been training really hard this year and worked on his strength, and you can see that's what happened now. He needed that race in Hamilton on Thursday to try and win this one tonight. It sharpened him up. Burke beat him just narrowly on Thursday night, but here are the tables turned. The long-striding Peter Pearless, who works for Les Mills, winning the 800 metres, a good victory to him.
So there's the moment for Peter Pearless ahead of Peter Burke, Icam Billy in third place.
Official result of the Winsoil men's 3,000 metre steeplechase. First was Boguslav Maminski of Poland, his time 8 minutes 25.49 seconds. Second from Canterbury was Peter Renner, his time 8 minutes 33.92 seconds. And third, Greg Duhane of Canada, a time of 8 minutes 35.58 seconds.
And the winner of the women's shot put tonight, Meg Ritchie from Scotland, and a throw of 16.90, or should we say a put of 16.90. Meg, I understand you'd rather forget the shot put.
Yeah, pretty mediocre, isn't it? 16.90. Yeah, when Gail withdrew, she has a problem with her elbow, so I just decided, well, just cruise through the shot and have a go for discus.
Well, it's at women's 800 metres, a strong sprinkling of overseas runners in the event, headed by Heather Barrett of Australia and Lorraine Baker of England. But keep an eye on lane 4, the visitor from Poland, Jolanta Janukska. But the favourite will be the winner of the 800 on Thursday at Hamilton, Heather Barrett.
Better over the 1500.
But she's really fired up this season, done a lot of work.
Away in the women's 800 metres, and that's Anne McKenzie on the inside lane from Wellington, who ran extremely well in the 1500 metres. She would have seen Peter Pearless do it in the men's 800 tonight. Clocking time for Pearless is 1:48.52, and she's got in behind Heather Barrett, but Lorraine Baker, who did the front running at Hamilton and then was run down in the straight, looks like she's happy to get into second place at the moment. So there's the first four as they come across, and Leslie Croxton, the New Zealand champion, is 186, who's gone across in about fifth place. At the 200 metres mark, it's Barrett, Australia, Baker of England, then Mackenzie, New Zealand, Jalunta of Poland, and in fifth place is Leslie Croxton of New Zealand. Then Shireen Bailey, and behind her is Robin McCondack.
First 200 metres, just over 31 seconds, so the pace is on at the moment. Mackenzie needs to stay in contact at this crucial point of the race.
So 400 metres left. It's 166, Lorraine Baker behind Heather Barrett, then Jolanta Janukska of Poland, and Mackenzie of New Zealand is staying there. So is Leslie Croxton, but the gap is just opening now back to the two New Zealanders. Shireen Bailey in sixth place, Barrett and Baker. It's going to be a good finish, 300 metres out.
Well, Baker made an early challenge in Hamilton and lost as a result of that. Will she do the same here tonight? She's into a headwind and sticking out and getting just as much of it as Barrett is in the inside lane. And Mackenzie there in fourth place still. She's drifting off the pace at the moment, but she could get a personal best here. But the race out in front is still a very good one.
Barrett lengthening the stride. It's the opposite way around as it was in Hamilton. Baker led them in at Hamilton and then got run down by Barrett. Let's see how they go up the straight tonight. Heather Barrett of Australia, Lorraine Baker of England, Jolanta Janukska of Poland in third place. Then the New Zealanders back in the field, but it's Barrett, Baker, and the Polish girl coming home strongly. But Heather Barrett is first, Baker second, Janukska third, Bailey fourth, Mackenzie was fifth, and Mackenzie beat the New Zealand champion, Leslie Croxton, who came home in sixth place.
Well, again, an exciting race from these women and a pretty good time too. We don't often see 800 metres run in close to 2 minutes. And Heather Barrett did all of the work, made it very tough for herself by getting out there. She wanted a good time. Lorraine Baker from England bided her time this time, just sat in the back there and hoped that she could get the breaks right now. But obviously she's not going to get them. Heather Barrett just too strong, going to take out this 800 metres in a pretty good time. Anne McKenzie, by the way, faded very badly. She was the first New Zealander and her time unofficially 2:06. Good win to Heather Barrett of Australia.
Welcome back to Mount Smart Stadium on this beautiful summer evening. The result of the Winsoil men's 800 metres. First, Peter Peerless of Auckland, a time of 1:48.52. Second was Peter Burke of Australia, 1:48.82 seconds. And third, Icon Billy of England, 1:48.83 seconds.
Okay, let's go now to the women's 3,000 metres, and your commentators once again, Keith Quinn and John Davies.
So coming up with 2 laps to go, this really is a trial for the World Cross Country team for women, and the fate of the New Zealanders making that team very much depends upon how well they run here this evening.
It's not an official trial, John.
No, not an official trial, but the result of this race will count very favourably in the eyes of the selectors who are all here watching these women tonight. Tomorrow they're going to announce the team on the basis really of what happens here.
So there's Kraus in the lead.
And all the way down.
Kathy Toomey, now she's well known in the States for much longer distances than this, but there she is in second place here. Mary O'Connor, who had that brilliant marathon debut about 18 months ago in London, she lies in third place.
Well, Kraus was looking like she was going to run well under 9 minutes, but she's coming close to it now. Toomey, who has a best time of about 9:16, hanging on well here in second place. She looks like she's too strong for the rest of the women in the field. Mary O'Connor trying desperately to hang on there.
Bell lap for Bridget Kraus in the women's 3,000 metres. Remember, this is the event that Anne Ordain won at the 1982 Commonwealth Games in Brisbane, Australia. Bridget Kraus is in the lead tonight. Toomey is second. Mary O'Connor looks on her shoulder as though she could challenge for second place, but there's the enormous lead that once again Bridget Kraus has.
Look at the relaxation in her face. See how her jaw just butters up and down like that. Total relaxation, no muscles tight there at all.
There's the battle for second place, and it's Sue Bruce who's going around the outside, and she's come from way back in the field, and that's a great run by Sue Bruce. And there is the real battle, remembering that it's a kind of a trial for the New Zealand women's cross-country selection. Kathy Toomey lengthening stride in second place, Sue Bruce challenging on the corner, but out in front, up the straight, it's Bridget Kraus.
Kraus unofficially 8:55, so she came under that 9 minutes. Good race here for second. Kathy Toomey taking it very narrowly from Sue Bruce. 9:05 for Kathy Toomey. Chrissy Hughes just coming in, and she's run about 9:07. That'll be a PB for her.
So there it is. A touch of deja vu, of course, because she's been unbeaten in New Zealand this summer and continuing that form. West Germany's Bridget Kraus, winner of the 3,000 metres.
John, obviously an amazing run, and perhaps the start of your international career in terms of the people watching you and coming to support you. What do you remember of that race?
Well, it was the beginning of my career, there was no question about that. 10 years today, it doesn't seem such a long time ago that I started it. Just sitting back on watching it on TV this afternoon, I put a lot of memories back, and considering that I'm still running 10 years from that date, and Philbert Bayi raced in America the other night 10 years after that as well. And it was probably the greatest race I think that I've ever been in, and it was certainly the start of my career.
Just having a look at the latter stages of the race now, what do you remember of it?
Well, as I said 10 years ago, I was very inexperienced. I'd only run 1,500 metres in Europe before that, and I sat on Rod Dixon going all the way down the back straight. And of course, Philbert Bayi, I felt, that particular day got away with probably one of the flukes in of all racing, where he managed to lead from the gun and got away with it, where he never tied up. And of course he went on to win in a world record time. I since raced by only once after that, back in Helsinki 6 months later, where I beat him by 40 metres, and unfortunately politics played a big part in our lives, and we never ever raced again over a mile or 1500.
Coming to times for tonight, there's a lot of talk about trying to get sub 350, which has never been done here. The quickest time at Mount Smart is yours of 350.58, I think. What are the chances tonight of getting a sub 350 mile?
Well, when I ran the 350.5 here, that was very late on in the season and I had a lot of racing. But as the season's gone on this year, I haven't had that much, but I've done probably more than I expected to up until now. And running 335.9 in Australia off a very slow time indicated that I was very close to, say, 351, 350. And I've since then gone on and proved my mate 800 metres at Hamilton the other night. It wasn't a winning one, but it was a very good time for me. And with the international competition that's here tonight with Don Page, Elliott both stepping up to the mile, Hillard's run me to 3 inches on several occasions, and also the Molenberg miles, and I think we're going to have one heck of a competitive race here tonight. I only hope by 8 o'clock that the wind dies down. This is the biggest problem here with Mount Smart Stadium.
And we have a chap, an Englishman in there, who ran his first 1,500 metres in Hamilton. What kind of competition do you expect from him?
Well, 338 is a 354 mile, and he wouldn't have to improve too much more on that to get round to 350. And I've got a lot of respect for Elliott. He's a very, very good runner, a man who ran 143.9 last year, and of course he's got a very promising career ahead of him. I just hope that he's not too close to us, because if he does, we could be all in trouble in the last 50.
John, we wish you luck for the race and for the time tonight.
Thank you very much.
Comments from John Walker. Let's go now to Les Mills with highlights from the men's javelin.
And this is the first round of the men's javelin, and Masami Yoshida of Japan. And there's a bit of the excitement gone out because of the absence of Mike O'Rourke. But this is Yoshida's first throw.
Yoshida's opening with quite a nice looking throw tonight. It's well up towards the 80-metre mark.
And the man to watch, obviously, in this race is the Australian teenager Darren Clark, who has a best time last year of 45.05, and there he is out to the left, flying around and into the back straight, and already distancing this 400-metre field. He's got a beautiful style, long, even pacing, and Darren Clark of Australia through the 200 metres, well clear of the rest of the field.
He's just over 21 seconds through the 200. He's really blasting it.
Well, Kaz Clark got the conditioning to hold on. He's on the corner, working nicely, staying upright as they straighten up out to the left. 228 is Steve Coleman. But it's Darren Clark all the way. Daylight is second, but it's actually going to be Murray Guthrie, the national 100 metres record holder, who gets through for second. But there's the winner, Darren Clark. Guthrie second, and Mashiba of Japan just dipped on the line. But it was an all-the-way win for this young fellow from Australia, who last year with his 45.05 was rated 12th in the world, and he certainly has a ton of potential, Darren Clark.
They're a great race in the men's 400, but two results for you now. Firstly, the homestyle women's 3,000 metres.
20.52. But on form, it could, of course, be an entirely different story as we watch again and appreciate the running style of this man.
Again, watch for the explosive start of Alan Wells and that marvellous controlled bend running that he has.
And once again, it's Howard Henley who's got to run in front of him, so we'll see how many strides it takes for Wells to catch Henley. Away. And I think it was about 6 or 7 strides before Wells got up on the shoulder of Henley. Although the American's running a better race today, so is Crulley on the inside. Now up the straight, Wells. Crulley second. Henley going a better race. Good run for second. Alan Wells going to the line, dipping in 20.62. If the wind is good, that could be under the New Zealand record. Alan Wells, let's just check that time. At Alan Wells first, Howard Henley second, and Marty Crulley third in the men's 200 metres. And a fine run again by Alan Wells.
But did you just see the way he ran that bend? It was absolutely tremendous event to watch, and I can tell you the wind is legal. The white flag is up, and that's an allowable wind. Watch Wells closely here. Look at his face. Look at his jaw. He's sort of opening and closing it and driving. Look, the guy's full of determination to win this and do a good time. But what a good run from Marty Crulley. and Howard Henley in the lane outside here. They're really trying to hang on to Wells because they know it's good conditions and a good time. Wells tying up now because he put so much effort round the bend. 20.6162. If that is correct, it'll be a New Zealand all-comers record. Henley is second and Crulley is third.
Smart Stadium, 1,000 metres.
And there's some interesting names there in the Winsoil 5,000 metres. A sub-4-minute miler in Colin Wrights from England. Ireland's Ray Flynn is there also, as is John Bowden from Auckland. And watch out also for Dave Burridge from Canterbury. Shortly a start in the Winsoil men's 5,000 metres.
Well, when you say sub-4-minute milers, here's the speed man of this field, Dick Quacks.
Yes,
this
it
is
is.
Ray Flynn. He's done sub-350, hasn't he, for the mile?
Ray Flynn is a best time of under 350. That's right, Keith. And he has a best time of 13:34 for this particular event.
Dick, I don't want to sound disparaging about Ray Flynn. He's got that excellent time, but I don't see many wins in the career of Ray Flynn. He doesn't seem to win very often.
No, Ray's one of those guys who's always there, always running good times, but has never really won any big ones.
So Ray Flynn takes his place in the field for the 5,000 metres.
Well, Ray Flynn will certainly be the favourite for this with his kick if it should happen to go very slowly in the early part.
David Lewis of England going into the early lead. And Dave Burridge of Canterbury, 2:44 in the field as well. It's one of the athletes that trained by John Davies.
And Dave Lewis is a 13:30.55 5,000 metre runner from England. He is a steeplechaser of note.
Interesting to see Colin Wrights right back there in the last position at the moment.
Well, Colin Wrights has probably figured out that those tactics worked for him the other night, but from that distance, I don't think they're going to work tonight.
He's going to do a Kiwi if he comes from back there. So into the leading runners, here's David Lewis of England, number 120. Dave Burridge of Canterbury is second. Away out to the left, Ray Flynn has got perhaps a winner's look in his eye at the moment, and 245 is Mark Handley of Wellington.
I know that Dave Burridge is hoping for a fast time. He'd like to get somewhere under 13:40 or around about 13:40 tonight to assure himself a place in the New Zealand cross-country team to compete in New York later on this year. The qualifying time for the Olympics in this event is 13:21, but really it's hard to see anybody getting close to that tonight.
Interesting to note, Dick Quacks, that the British qualifying time for 5,000 metres much slower than New Zealand. 13:35, I think, something like that.
Well, Keith, that's right, and I think we've made a bad mistake making it that far, because really it has put it right out of the reach of any of our promising young runners like David Burridge who'd like to have a go at it. And 13:35 is within his reach. 13:21, I don't think so.
So that's Dave Burridge lying in third place at the moment. He's from Canterbury. He's really burst on the scene this year with some good runs, and Dave Lewis out in the lead. Ray Flynn of Ireland second. Dave Burridge of Canterbury in third place. Mark Handley of Wellington in fourth, and John Bowden coming into the field in fifth place. Now he's got a good speed for a miler too, so if the pace is at all slower than usual, he may come through.
And John likes to run that way. He likes to come from behind and kick. He's a New Zealand champion over this distance, and he's certainly very well performed.
So out in the lead of the men's 5,000 metres is Dave Lewis of England, followed by Ray Flynn with New Zealand's Dave Burridge in third. And we'll be back from the International Track Meet at Mount Smart Stadium after this break. Before John Bowden, then Ken Maloney and Ewan Robertson. Mark Handley dropping off the bunch, having gone back through the field. But really it's time to Dick Quacks to weigh up Dave Burridge and how he's going, and also to hear from John Davies, who's Dave Burridge's coach.
Dave Burridge is going particularly well. He's gone to the front, but he hasn't actually lifted up the pace. I think, John, you would have liked to see him lift up the pace a little bit.
Yes, when he took the lead, he was only running 66s, and they're still running 66s. In fact, that's been the pace all the way through, so they're running just over 13:45 for the moment, which would certainly be a personal best for him. And I think for John Bowden in the field, Ken Maloney, Ewan Robertson, and Mark Hanley at the back of that bunch.
Well, the only ones who won't get a personal best out of this so far probably will be the international runners in this field, David Lewis and Ray Flynn. Of course, Ewan Robertson back in 1976 ran 13:40.
Burridge leading, Ray Flynn still running one lane wide. David Lewis of England in third place. John Bowden, Ken Maloney, Ewan Robertson hanging on the back. That's the leading 6 in the 5,000 metres. And this time when they come around, it'll be 3 laps to go. So they're coming down now to the 1,500 metre man.
Well, if it comes to a 1,500, if it comes to a last lap, I think I've got to go with the sub 350 miler. And that's Ray Flynn.
This is where the pace needs to be picked up by the likes of Dave Burridge. They need to get in and pick the pace up so they really try to run this sprint out of Ray Flynn. Flynn, who's been injured whilst he's been here for the Mullenberg Mile Series, ran well in Hamilton, but he was beaten over 1,500, and he could be beaten if it was made tough for him now.
I was talking to Ray after the race in Hamilton, and he says he's coming down 2 seconds every race. So it's enough to win this, but they could make it tough for him out there. And David Burridge, that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's opened up about a 2 or 3 metre gap, and he's trying to make it tough.
So that's Ray Flynn, number 106 to the left. Burridge in the lead with the University of Canterbury colours to the 4 at the moment. David Lewis of England is third. John Bowden in the Auckland University colours in 4th place. Then Ken Maloney and Ewan Robertson.
And the lap that time was 68 seconds, so the pace has slowed down a little bit. John Bowden, one of our sub 4 minute milers, right in behind the 2 internationals. Ken Maloney hanging on the pace there as well.
So with 2 laps to go, it's David Burridge, David Lewis, Ray Flynn, John Bowden, Ken Maloney, and Ewan Robertson.
What about the positioning there of John Bowden, Dick Quacks? He's a good sub 4 minute miler as well. He's tucked in behind. He looks a bit handy too.
Well, John's very quick. He ran a very good 1,500 metres down Hamilton a couple of weeks where he showed a great kick, and I'm sure that he'll use it if he gets the opportunity tonight.
Well, here's a bit of a burst coming from Burridge now. You could see him dropping Lewis slightly, but Burridge not able to maintain that pace. Bowden in a good spot there. He's been sheltered all the way. A 66-second lap that time for Dave Burridge, so the pace picking up slightly that time. Lewis not looking good now. Bowden moving around on the outside of him. Bowden in a good spot. He's right there on Ray Flynn.
And with one coming up to the bell, it's Dave Burridge from Canterbury University. And it's down to a bunch of 4 now. It's going to be a good finish.
The bell is ringing in the 5,000 metres, and the Canterbury man, Dave Burridge. Dave Burridge, about 7 or 8 laps ago, went to the lead. He's the unknown in international speaking in this kind of field, but there he is bravely holding the lead. But he's got 2 very fast sub 4 minute milers behind him, Ray Flynn and John Bowden.
Next down the back straight in the 5,000 metres, David Burridge, Ray Flynn, John Bowden. Between these 3 as they head down, 200 metres left to go. They've gone through the 12 laps and
200 metres out now.
14 seconds.
Burridge is holding on there, but the big effort is going to come yet, because I think Flynn is waiting to see when Bowden makes his strike. And there goes Bowden moving wide. So Flynn turning to the left, waiting for Bowden to come. In the straight, Bowden's going on the inside. Flynn and Bowden.
John Bowden on the inside, Ray Flynn on the outside. Ray Flynn could just be holding out John Bowden. Ray Flynn will win from Bowden.
Ray Flynn wins it. Bowden second, and Dave Burridge's great run gets him 3rd place. 4th place, David Lewis. Ken Maloney comes through in 5th. But it's Ray Flynn of Ireland, the man I said didn't win often, but he's won tonight. Number 106, Ray Flynn of Ireland.
And there you can see the determination on John Bowden. He wants to win this one very badly. He's never won an international race before, but Ray Flynn is too fast and too strong.
So there's the winner of the 5,000 metres, Ray Flynn of Ireland.
Looking forward now to the feature event of the night. Tension really starting to build. The feature event, of course, is the mile, and the talking point is whether or not they will go under 350, which has never been done in New Zealand. In fact, the first man in the world to go under 350 was our own John Walker. That was in Gothenburg in Sweden way back in 1975.
And this is the picture of the 23-year-old John Walker breaking that world mile record, making history by becoming the first man ever to run under 3 minutes and 50 seconds. It was set up by Ken Hall of Australia, and tremendous urging from the crowd brought Walker home in a fan